Hi everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing the Lotus Overbust corset made by Versatile Corsets, which you can also find on Corset Connection. So here is the front, the side, the back, and the other side. The center front of this corset is 16 inches, and from the very top of the peak of the bust down to the bottom of the corset is almost 18 inches. So you can see this is very much a long corset. It's not exactly long line that much. My iliac crest is right there, so it's not too long that I can't sit in it, but most of the length is actually from the waist up, which is excellent for me. I'm not sure if you're able to see if I give you a sort of quarter profile here, but it actually has very nice shaping around the bust here. I think that this cup would be able to accommodate maybe up to an E cup here, and if you have a smaller bust you might want to go with the custom sizes, and so it will actually give you a little bit less of a cup here. But right now I'm wearing the standard size 24, and this is fitting my bust quite nicely. The only thing that doesn't fit perfectly is in the back here. I have the top open maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches here. Even though it has quite a lot of space in the cup here, if you have a broad rib cage or a broad back, you might have to wear it open in the back a little bit here. But I find that it still gives quite nice shaping in the front with not too much spillover. The hips are just a little bit rounded, but not too much. I would say that in this size, it may accommodate up to about 36 inches in the hips here at the iliac crest. And you can see that it peaks down in the front here to help flatten any lower tummy pooch if you have any issues with that. Silhouette-wise, I would say that this is a modern slim silhouette. That being said, the hips do accommodate probably a 12-inch hip spring, and the bust here accommodates quite a large bust. So when I look at myself in the mirror, I feel like a Barbie doll. I find that this is capable of giving me a lot of curves, but perhaps because the length of this corset is so long, maybe the curviness is sort of diluted in that. So I guess take that with a grain of salt, I guess. Alright, so this is the Lotus corset laying flat, and in close up you can see the material here. It's a sort of pink sparkly PVC with black accent boning channels here, and then on the inside this one looks like it is lined in twill, probably because this one was a sample. I had talked to the owner of Corset Connection and Versatile Corsets last night, and they said that they do still use coutil in all of their commissioned corsets, but for the purpose of samples it might be made with something a little bit cheaper like twill here. But rest assured, if you ever commission a corset from them, then it should have herringbone coutil on the inside here. But this is like such a Barbie corset, all pink and sparkly and plastic and everything. For the construction of this, if I turn it on its side, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panel pattern here. Despite only having like a 10 panels in the corset, you can see that the bust curve around here is very impressive. I find that it shapes quite smoothly. You can see that all of these seams are double, and actually with the external boning channels they are triple stitched in here. They're top stitched in between the panels, so it's quite secure. You can see the exposed waist tape there, I'll get to that later. And then all of the boning channels here are in external contrasting channels. However, if you do order a corset from them, if you're commissioning one in your desired style and you don't want external boning channels, then just don't put anything for the contrasting external boning channels or anything, and you should just get a corset with bones that are hidden underneath the fashion layer. So like I said before, you can see the waist tape here. The reason that you can see the waist tape exposed in this particular corset is because of the external boning channels. If you didn't have external boning channels, then the waist tape would be hidden, sandwiched in between 2 layers, so it would not be exposed here. But it's a 1-inch wide black Petersham waist tape that is extending right from the very start of that first panel right to the very back there, so all the panels are covered here. You can see here the contrasting binding here. It's made out of black sort of pleather, the same material as that's on the outside of these external boning channels here. It's just made from bias strips cut from the same material, and you can see that it is machine stitched on the outside and also on the inside here. Unlike some other leather or PVC style corsets that I had reviewed before, this one they had actually gone to the extra effort to fold down the inside part here. So I find that folding it down, it doesn't leave any raw edges, and this one isn't particularly bulky, so that's kind of nice. This corset also has 8 garter taps, 4 on each side. This corset has an enormous unstiffened Modesty panel here. If I measure it, it is about almost 8 inches wide, so maybe it's about 6 inches of usable space, but that's still quite a lot, much more than I need in this corset. It's made from black satin, so not the PVC here, but actually this is somewhat a good thing, because if this were a pleather Modesty panel, that might be kind of gross and sweaty on your back there. It is attached on one side, but you can remove it just by picking out that row of stitching there. However, I don't know if you would really want to do that on this particular corset in general, because removing that line of stitching might leave some little needle sort of prick marks in this pleather fabric here. On the front here, you can see that there is also an unstiffened Modesty placket made in the matching black pleather here, just underneath the busk. The busk itself is 12 inches long in this corset with 6 pins all equidistantly placed. It is one of the standard busts here. It just has, it's half an inch wide on each side, but it's further reinforced by another flat steel on either side of it. There is another 3.5 inches right here at the top that's grommeted, so you can just lace that up and adjust the bust if you want it more open or not. However, the flat bone that's supporting the busk here, it goes right up to the top there, so you don't have to worry about the top being particularly floppy and exposing yourself or anything like that. There are a total of 20 steel bones in this corset, so 10 on each side. You can see here 2, 4, 6 double boned on the seams here, another 2 bones sandwiching the grommets in the back. Like I said before, the steel bone that's supporting the bust, and then a single steel bone over the bust curve here. And I'm assuming they did this so that it would be able to fit over the curve a little bit better and won't make it too stiff. Now, I apologize, in my previous reviews I had assumed that these bones that are on the seams here were spiral steel bones because they did attract a magnet when I had tested it. However, they are also quite flexible. But after talking with the owner of Corset Connection last night, she said that actually this entire corset is fully boned with flat steels. They only use flat steels in their corsets. It's just that the ones that are used on the sides here are more flexible. So I'm going to make that correction in my previous reviews, and yeah, just a note that this is all flat steel bones. There are no spirals here. Here's a close-up of the grommets in the back. There are a total of 32 grommets in this corset, so 16 on each side. They're size 00, and like you can see here, there's hardly any wear to them. They're holding in quite securely. And here's a close-up of the back here, and yeah, those little pieces of fabric sticking out. It looks like a split, but it's not actually. You can see that they've all rolled really nicely. I don't see any splits in them. They don't catch onto the laces. And the laces themselves, they are just the typical thin 1/8 wide round nylon cord, very strong, quite slippery like I said before, but you can always switch it out if you want. The price of the Lotus corset on the Corset Connection website is about $398. And now for the bust test. Okay, so the Lotus corset passes the bust test with flying colors. I think if I could give this like 5 stars out of 4, I probably would, because the bust line comes up so high and it curves right around that there's absolutely no way for me to fall out. Now, if I wanted more space for my bust, I could probably open and close this lacing here, but there was absolutely no point that I felt constricted or that I felt like I was falling out. I feel that it really properly lifts and supports, and it doesn't squeeze the daylights out of my bust. It actually has creates a really nice shape, but there is absolutely no way that I'm ever going to fall out in this corset. And this concludes the review of the Lotus Overbust corset made by Corset Connection, and you can also find it on Versatile Corsets. If you liked this video, then please click that like button and help support the channel. And if you have any comments or questions about this corset or about Corset Connection in general, you can leave a comment down below and I'd be happy to get back to you. And I will see you all next week for another video. Bye!